Deep in the endless dunes of the Sahara, a caravan of tourists traversed the golden maze on camelback. It was a common sight in the Moroccan desert, foreigners snapping selfies, while towering camels plotted fort under the burning sun. Among these camels was one named Jalal, older than the rest, with graying fur around his snout and soulful, amber eyes that hinted at a hard life. Jalal had once been the prized lead camel for a luxury desert tour company. He was strong, obedient, and remarkably intelligent. For years, he carried guests across scorching dunes and cold desert nights without complaint. But time took its toll. His gait slowed, his knees stiffened, and the newer handlers grew impatient. Though his spirit was willing, the company saw him as a liability. Then came the final insult. During a routine trek, Jalal stumbled while descending a steep dune. The tourists panicked, and the handler, a young, brash man named Idris, lost his temper. With angry shouts, he yanked Jalal's rope and kicked him repeatedly. That night, instead of returning with the rest of the camels, Jalal was untethered, beaten one last time, and left in the middle of the desert to die alone. For 2 days, Jalal lay still, barely breathing, sand collecting in his eyelashes. He would have perished had it not been for a local boy named Sammy. Sammy was only 12, the son of a Berber nomad who knew every grain of the desert. While checking his father's traps for scorpions near an oasis, Sammy spotted the collapsed camel. At first, he thought it was a mirage, but when he approached, he saw the dried blood on the camel's side and its barely flickering eyes. With no hesitation, Sammy ran back home, dragging his father along with water and dates. Over the next week, they nursed Jalal back to life, washing his wounds, rubbing his joints with desert herbs, and speaking to him softly in Tamazight, the native tongue. It was the first time in years anyone had spoken to Jalal like he mattered. As Jalal regained strength, Sammy formed an unbreakable bond with him. While other kids chased goats or climbed dunes, Sammy and Jalal wandered together. He taught Jalal new commands, fed him by hand, and slept beside him when desert winds grew cruel at night. The camel, once discarded like trash, became part of Sammy's soul. One day, the same tour company returned to the region. A group of tourists had gone missing during a sandstorm, and panic spread through the small desert towns. A reward was posted, 10,000 dirhams for anyone who found them. Sammy overheard his father scoffing about the search. "They don't know this desert. They'll die if no one acts fast." That night, without telling anyone, Sammy saddled Jalal and rode into the dunes. Though only a boy, he trusted the camel's instincts. "You know these sands," he whispered. "You were born for this." For 2 nights and days, they searched. Jalal sniffed the wind, veered left when Sammy didn't understand why, and paused under dunes where the sand seemed strangely disturbed. On the 3rd morning, Jalal groaned deeply and dropped to his knees. In the distance, through shimmering heat waves, they saw bright fabric tents overturned and footsteps scattered. Sammy approached cautiously. There, huddled under a rock formation, were 2 dehydrated tourists, barely conscious, sunburnt, and clinging to life. Sammy gave them his water, used his own scarf to shield their faces, and then gently helped them onto Jalal's back. It was slow and painful, but they made it back to the town by sundown. The tourists were rushed to a clinic. News spread like wildfire. Journalists descended. "Boy and camel save lives in Sahara," the headlines screamed. The tour company, when confronted, tried to deny Jalal was theirs, but a former handler recognized the markings on his left leg, a faint scar from a rope burn, and it became clear this was the same camel they'd left to die. They tried to buy Jalal back, offered money, a brand new saddle, even a sponsorship deal. Sammy refused. "You left him when he was weak. I won't let you use him now that he's strong." Jalal became a local legend. No longer a beast of burden, was a hero. Tourists began coming not for the camel rides, but to meet the camel that saved lives. Sammy's family, once poor and unnoticed, used donations to build a small sanctuary for injured desert animals. Jalal watched from his favorite shady spot as other forgotten creatures found shelter. Years passed, but Jalal remained majestic. He was never forced to carry anyone again. Only Sammy rode, him barefoot, smiling, like the day they'd first met. Together, they reminded the world that even the abandoned, even the old and broken, have a fire inside them that can save lives when no one else can.